how do you decide whether to buy raw and grade or buy graded and flip? So go ahead here, Paul, and give our answer for Rob.
How do you decide whether to buy raw and grade or buy graded and flip? Couple different factors here. I think one factor is when you're buying a lower tier card for a player, you could look at what is the cost of a PSA 10 versus what is the cost of the card raw. And a lot of times you might find that a PSA 10 of a particular card might sell, depending on the card, for within $10 to $20 of what the actual raw card costs. This would be for probably a lower tier player or a lower tier card. So it wouldn't necessarily be the right card for the right player, like we talk about. It could be the right card for the right player, and it could be at really the right time because you might have found a super bargain here. But in these cases, definitely just buy graded, right? Buy graded and flip. That's one scenario. So I think of a guy like Connor threw out a Rui Hachimura Prism Silver PSA 10 that was like under $20 or under $10. In that case, you want to just go ahead and buy that, because otherwise you're looking at buying the card, paying the grading fee, and potentially not getting a 10, all for more money than just buying the 10. So Rui Hachimura definitely was not the right player, but it was the right card at the right time. So that would be one scenario. Another scenario would be buy graded and flip would be like in a shorter window, right? So for example, I just bought a bunch of Jalen Hurts 2020 Optic Hollow PSA 10s. I bought them in PSA 10 because I want to try to sell them when the Eagles make the Super Bowl in February. I'm hoping that the Eagles do make the Super Bowl because I bought those cards. I think they have the greatest potential to make the Super Bowl, and I will sell them. If the Eagles do make the Super Bowl, I will sell them in an auction that ends likely right at the end of the Super Bowl. And so in that case, if the Eagles don't make the Super Bowl, I'll hold them until August. That's part of the reason why I bought those cards, because they were down. So either way, I'm going to make money on that. I'm going to make a lot more money if the Eagles do make the Super Bowl. But the reason I bought the PSA 10 instead of buying the card raw and graded is because there wasn't enough time to get the card graded and get it back before the Super Bowl. So that's another scenario where you would buy graded and flip. Another scenario where you would buy graded and flip instead of buying raw and grading would be in a super low gem rate. Like there's a lot of cards like Trevor Lawrence 2021 Prism and Optic cards, all cards, all variations from those two releases have a notoriously low gem rate. Like we're talking 12% or under gem rate, and that's with a high sample size. Like everybody grades all Trevor Lawrence cards. So in that case, if you want to get like the right card for Trevor Lawrence, I would recommend buying graded, because your chances are you're probably not going to get that 10. So you just want to go ahead and buy the graded card and flip it in that case. So other scenarios that I might not be thinking of, but those are the main ones I would think where you would buy graded and flip. Scenarios where you would buy raw and grade would be kind of the opposite of what I just said. So you have more time on the calendar to get the card back from PSA before the selling marker. You would have a higher gem rate, and you would have a lower cost for the raw card and the grading fee combined, and a higher ceiling in the PSA 10, with potentially a break even at the PSA 9. So this is something we break down for our premium subscribers often in our premium articles, as well as in Sports Card School and here on the Overflow Show. So we can dig into this more if you need more help with it, but I think that's a pretty good answer.